Hello, luminous beings. This is Masami. I hope you are doing well. Well, we are almost there to the Lunar New Year. So I'm really excited and I'm really happy to be recording this video for you. So I have been wrapping up 2023 energy and I am getting ready to welcome the new moon and the Lunar New Year on February 10th. So in this video, I will go over very powerful meridian pressure points in your body that will support you in welcoming this Lunar New Year and the new moon in Aquarius on February 10th. But first, let's just go back to January for a moment. I know, maybe some of you are like, no, I don't want to go back to January again. But we still have a couple more days that it's winding down time of the 2023 before we welcome the Lunar New Year of 2024. So let's see. Okay, so January always feels a bit strained for me, to be honest with you, trying to balance the solar calendar and the lunar rhythm. Since January is the time of ending in the lunar calendar and the time of beginning in Gregorian calendar, many things seems to get pulled in two different directions by both the sun and the moon, especially for me. And I hope you can relate to that. Maybe some of you do relate to that. So if you felt pulled in opposite directions all throughout January and felt like you were taking a step forward only to take a step back, you were not alone. This is why days leading up to the Lunar New Year is so important. This week is when the pull to reflect and to complete the energies of the past year comes to a natural end. And the tides ushering you to take forward motion organically begin. And this is when we can finally shift into a balanced state and live along with the cosmic biorhythm. Doesn't that sound a lot better? So this week, prior to the new moon and the Lunar New Year, it's a great idea to do one last reflection on 2023. In another video, I've intuitively come up with 12 different questions based on your moon sign, so your moon zodiac sign. So this is different than your sun sign. So please check out the video link below. I know you will benefit a lot from watching it. Let's touch upon the month of February quickly here. So February is going to move fast. In fact, until about the early April, our lives are going to be turbocharged and fly with the supersonic speed. So be sure to stay focused and present. And I will go into much more detail for this during the Year of the Dragon call that I will be doing on February 10th. And in that call, I will be talking about and going over the outlook for the dragon year and strengths and pitfalls and so much more. And I will be sharing essential questions there and health tips for each moon sign. So stay tuned to that. And it's probably a good idea for you to find out what moon sign you are before getting on that call. And if you haven't signed up for that, the Year of the Dragon call, please check out the link below. It's free and I know you will find it very, very helpful. So let's get back to February for a moment here. As we all know, love and relationships are often the topics discussed in February, but this month may bring some tough challenges for those of us that are not working on our own fundamental needs and healthy lifestyles. It's one thing to talk about and express love externally, but if you haven't clearly addressed your own physical health and well-being, you can find yourself bumping up against challenging relationships. This is because your inner awareness is calling you back to nurture your relationship with yourself. So keep that in mind and in your heart this month. So next, new moon in Aquarius. We're going to be riding the waves with this new moon. It's quite appropriate, it being the beginning of the Lunar New Year and the Year of the Dragon. The energies going into the new moon will feel choppy and stormy, but this also doesn't surprise me, given that the Year of the Dragon is all about water, rivers, fires, and wind, and lots of ups and downs. So I think we're already feeling that energetic feels of the dragon going into this new moon in Aquarius. So let's go into a pressure point that can support you as you walk on ground that is not so stable, okay? What I'm already seeing in myself, but seeing in my clients is lower body discomfort, especially feeling stuck both physically and energetically. Heading into the new moon on Friday and into the weekend, it's really important that we address some of these stagnations so that this energy doesn't carry into the Lunar New Year, into the Dragon Year either. So the lower body discomfort shows up from areas of hips, pelvis, down to legs, ankles, and feet. And I am seeing much, much more increase in these areas of the bodies are coming into my sessions. My clients are talking about it, they're complaining about it. And I'm noticing some of that also, especially like water retention kind of thing. So I'll give you a couple of examples of what I'm seeing. So feeling heavy in the legs, cramping in legs, water retention in the lower legs, especially below the knees, combination with the heaviness of the legs, and that's impacting your lower back. And it's also causing you to have some hip pain. Those are some of the things I'm seeing. And other things are like bottom of the feet, redness, burning, pain, and swelling, even down to chronic plantar fasciitis and gout. So all these symptoms can make you feel like you cannot take steps forward, right? I mean, it's really kind of obvious when your body is feeling heavy and the water that's you're holding on, and there's maybe external pain that's coming from like bottom of the feet kind of thing. It is really hard for us to take steps forward. So you feel stuck and unable to move forward or leap into the new lunar year. So let's work on one of my favorite pressure points to release some of that heaviness and stagnations in your lower legs. This point can be a really wonderful thing to work on. So this point is called Horyu in Japanese. It's also called the stomach 40 point in acupuncture. So you can see it in the picture here. Right in the middle between the kneecap and the ankle, outside of your shin bone, about one thumb width outside of the shin bone area. And this point is really important for relieving some of those heaviness, stagnations, and feet and ankle and even the knee area, all those things that I just mentioned. But this point is also very helpful for digestion and absorption. So if you're having some indigestion, absorption issues, maybe constipation, gas and bloating also. And this point is great for balancing energies in your entire body, but particularly when it comes to the stomach area. That's why it's a stomach 40, but it's great for balancing your third chakra as well. And remember that if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, we are in the Kappa season. So it's kind of the mud cake season, I call it, wet earth season. So we can experience heaviness and sluggishness on this earth as well as in our own constitutions. So stimulating this point, the stomach 40 point, can be quite helpful in moving energies, fluids, and supporting movements. So movements forward, but also movements of your body, movements of your thinking, maybe even uplifting some of your emotions as well. And these are a couple of the other things you may want to pay attention to, especially during the kappa season, and using this point to relieve some of these following symptoms. So phlegm or cough with thick mucus, low energy, depression, leg pain, muscle weakness, and even like vocal cords, vocal problems, weakness in your voice. If you're starting to notice like a crackly voice or your voice seems thinner, you can't seem to have loud enough voice to reach. Those are the things that maybe it's showing you that's like you're losing some of your momentum. You are giving away some of your prana. So coming back to your stomach 40 point can be really good for these things as well. You can feel slight squishiness or like even mushiness when there is a lot of phlegm or mucus in your body. And you could feel it right at that stomach 40 point. So how do we stimulate that area, right? So first of all, you want to find that point using your thumb or maybe middle finger, index fingers together and put a gentle pressure on it. You can also use like a tennis ball and lightly in the circular motions, massage or tap that area. You can even bounce the tennis ball onto that area. And you can do this sitting down. You can do it by putting your leg up against maybe your foot on the chair and access that point. That's probably one of the easiest ways you can do, maybe a dining chair or something like that and address that spot. And don't worry about being too precise. Find kind of the areas that feels a little like I said, like maybe mushy, squishy. It's got a little like a water retention kind of a feelings. Okay. That's the region that you're just getting into. You're not doing like a perfect acupuncture needling here. So use your fingers, use your sensations on your fingers to know, yeah, this feels like a right spot. Sometimes that area will feel slight dullness, like ache kind of a feeling as well. And let's quickly look at the Chinese characters for this point. In Japanese, like I said, it's called Horyu point. So there are two characters. The first character is what it means is abundance and it's fullness and it's ample, like ample of something or abundance of something. And the second character is flourishing, richness of life. So this point gives you a sense that ample enrichment is possible, even when things are difficult and challenging. So I found that intuitively, when my senses went to this point, I thought, wow, this is such a great point to work on right before you actually welcome the new year. So, do check out this point and work on it. And whenever I attend to this point, it makes me feel that I can take steps forward, despite a lot of things that are happening in my life too. They are challenging and there are plenty of uncertainties. But these points, and they're on both sides, by the way, they just make me feel like, okay, lighter. Maybe you will feel like, oh, there's a little more movement. Lymphatic system can begin to move as well when you address this point. And this becomes quite important for the year of the dragon, which is going to be filled with opportunities and great potential. For those of you that are willing to ride the back of the dragon, right? In order to ride the back of the dragon, you kind of need to use your lower back. If you've ever ridden a horse, right? You have to kind of hold on to that. And it requires a lot of that inner muscles, right? Inner leg muscles. So think about it like that you're addressing your legs, you're addressing some of these concerns now so that you can ride the dragon during this year. Okay. Let me know your thoughts, and I look forward to reading your comments as usual. If you enjoy these kind of videos that I'm putting together, please subscribe and give me a thumbs up. It really means a lot to me. I truly appreciate you taking the time to leave a comment and also watch this video to the end. And I look forward to being with you on the next video. Namaste.